Last time we played Homestead at their gym, I was sophomore, I think, sophomore that year, and the game was crazy the whole time. I ain't really play that much, but with the times I did get in, it was just super loud. I'm already knowing, the game coming up, it's a doubleheader, and both our teams are good, so I know it's gonna be like a loud gym. But I remember at the end of the game when John Barnes hit that full court shot, to get the win, that was just something crazy. But it was electric in there definitely, and I'm expecting that this Friday.
Right, so with that being said, what do you think you guys got to do to prevent it from coming to a buzzer beater, especially since they might want some payback for that?
We already know, they got their guys, Fletcher Lloyd, if we can stop him, I think basically we can get that game, because our offense always going to flow. Me, Karson, we already going to get ours, but the rest of our teammates been playing good. So, if we just do that, play good defense and lock up and rebound, I think we got the game good. We got it. We going to win.
Right, with that being said, for defense for you guys guarding them, how are you guys going to handle them kind of attacking your guys' strength, which is getting up and down the floor?
Wait, can you repeat that?
I guess you already addressed kind of how you guys going to attack them with stopping Fletcher. How are you guys going to balance or kind of counter what they plan to do, stopping you guys getting open floor?
We just got to make sure that we just flowing on both sides. We got to make sure we run our offense correctly, and then when we get back on defense, we just got to make sure we're doing the right stuff.
So what do you think is going to be the difference in the game?
I think it's going to be big, on the rebounds, because they're bigger. Most of their team is 6'3" or taller. And, we got a couple of shorter guys, but if we box out and rebound, and just play our game, I think we can pull it out.
Obviously, you guys have good balance like they do, but most of you guys are coming from you and Karson. So, is it more difficult to stop a team who has more well-balanced scoring?
I think it does. It is a little bit, but I think if we just lock. I think if everybody just lock in and just play their role, I think we'd be just fine.
All right, is there anything else?
No.
All right, that's all for me.
Really, we just got to stop. Really just got to stop the whole team. They like to run their offense. Coach does a good job of making sure the players know their roles. So we just gotta not let them get into their sets and try to speed them up.
And a couple more things. How big would it be to go in there in the middle of the year and get a win on the home floor, and what would that tell you about where you guys stand in the SAC?
That would for sure tell us a lot about where we stand in the SAC. It's really up in the air right now. Homestead's for sure front runner, and we are too. So if we win this one, I think that puts us in a real good place.
And lastly, what type of performance do you need to see? I guess as a senior leader on your team, what type of performance do you think you need to see for your team for you guys to be victorious?
I think we just need to go out there, play hard, play through adversity. Don't get into anything, the refs, just focus on the crowd, just focus on what we need to do and go out there and play our game.
You seem like you feed off the crowd a little bit, so does that kind of make you more excited when there's a lot of yelling and maybe even people against you?
Really, I love playing in front of a crowd. I love, obviously last week we had a sold-out crowd, Snider versus Northup at our house, so. I love a crowd, but I'm really just focused when I'm out there on the task at hand. And I just love when the momentum is going our way. But even when it's not, we still, have to persevere, stay focused, and get the task done.
Thanks,
man, that ended well. It was two good teams battling. It was a great environment, and it's always nice when you can hit a three-quarter shot at the buzzer to win it. So if that happens again, we would take that.
Yeah, obviously, you can't count on that. So what types of things are you telling your guys so maybe hopefully it doesn't come down to a last-second shot?
Well, they've got one really exceptional player, but they've got a lot of really nice pieces around him. So it's gonna come down to playing our principles. We can't be anybody that we're not. We're just gonna go. We're gonna play as hard as we can. We're gonna play as together, as connected, and as prepared as what we can possibly do, and give them our best shot and see what happens.
Yeah, well, like you said, outside of Fletcher, they have a lot of balanced scoring. I know you guys are kind of top heavy with most of your guys most of your scoring coming from the two guys.
Yeah.
How do you think that balances out with each other? How do you think that matchup? How do you think that's going to play out on Friday?
Well, I think in both cases, those two, while they lead the team in scoring, Fletcher for Homestead and then Aidan and Karson for us, they create so many advantages for everybody else. And so it's really going to come down to who steps up in those times and makes the big plays, especially defensively. And for us, we got to do an exceptional job of keeping them off the boards. They have so much length and they play so hard and they're so well coached that we got to make sure we clean up all the little things and control what we can control.
Yeah, with you guys loving to get out in transition. How have you guys been balancing the different ways that teams have been choosing to guard you?
Well, I think that's a great question because when we're in transition, we're at our best, and we're so dynamic, especially with Aidan, Karson, and the guys playing off of him. We're going to need to see some more half-court offensive execution. We want to share the ball more. We want to run our stuff with a little more purpose. And if we can become a team that is excellent both in the full court and in the half court, I think that takes us to another level.
Yeah, how do you guys, is it kind of like you guys kind of want to create some chaos and kind of to keep the game going, keep the game in the open floor?
100%, yeah. We want to be disruptive. We want to take teams out of what they do, and we want to make sure our defense starts our offense. And the more that we can do about getting stops, then we can play out in transition and get to the game that we want to do.
Right, and last question is about Fletcher. Like, obviously, you mentioned how good he is and where he's going. We all know where he's going. So, kind of, how do you balance, like, focusing on him, but not too much to where you can let the other guys beat you?
I think that's it. You know, in some ways, he's just kind of play the game that he knows how to play. He's exceptional with his screen reads, with his recognizing secondary defenders, and he has such poise. You know, nothing really gets to him. So we're going to do our best to limit that and make sure that we keep everybody else off the boards and out of advantage situations.
And last question for me. What does a win like this tell you? Obviously, in the heart of the season, what does a win like this tell you about your standing or placing in the SEC conference this year?
Well, for the biggest thing, it puts us back in control. You know, we would be right there at the top with most teams having one loss, and you know, some more teams coming up, obviously. But it puts us back in position to take control of the race.